Bang, bang, bang. What's up, everybody? What's going on, boys? Welcome to episode 20 of Ride the Tide Sports Podcast. I'm Tyler, or Tyco, my bad. And I'm here with Snoop Luke and Mick Dilly, as we have named him since last podcast.
I got a nickname.
You can throw their names down there. There you go, Mick Dilly. Yeah, he finally got a nickname. He can stop bitching about it. But
out time.
A very light Monday here at Ride the Tide Sports. We don't have a million things, but that just means that not a lot happened. So it is what it is.
Well, let's roll with it.
We do deserve one of these. I agree. It's been nonstop.
Bang, bang, bang.
So let's just get into it. Some NFL news. Like we do around here, we like to keep it hometown first. So let's start off with some hometown news with Megatron thanking Detroit fans because Megatron thanks Detroit fans for always continuing to show up even though we were dog shit. And that is why he continued to show up, is because the fans showed up. So I'm thinking if the fans never showed up and they were like, damn, they're bad, we're never going to the Lions game, he might have not lasted as long as he even did, and it wasn't a very long career to begin with.
No, and I saw Stafford was there. I like that. He was at
of course, Stafford was there.
Ceremony. I was really just happy.
He had to be
the only person.
He's the guy that threw him all the fucking passes.
I wanted to. Come on. So I'm really happy about that. Yeah, I think Calvin is well-deserved Hall of Famer, obviously, no doubt. But the one thing I want to point out is I like how quickly the NFL put him into the Hall of Fame, in my eyes. I think, like most players, it would be another 5-10 years, especially if they're retiring, in the past 5 years, that they'd get put in. But I like that the NFL was like, nah, it happened a couple of years ago. We acknowledge that, he's one of the greatest. So
not if you're the best of the best.
Exactly. I love that. Keeping it hometown. The Lions are loving Campbell. They're loving everything that he's doing for the team. I don't know. We don't have a clip, but most of you saw it. Dan Campbell at FanFest at Ford Field was giving a whole pep talk to the fans, talking about how we're all at a campfire and you guys need to be the gasoline to just keep it going. Another one of his great speeches. If the organization's loving him, fans are loving him, everyone's loving him, the only thing that's left for him to do is win. Luke said it the other day at the UFC event, and I hate how true it is, but it is a perfect setup to just go 0-16.
It really is.
For a Detroit downfall, but
it's also a nice setup to actually do damage.
It's also set up to do damage, and Detroit sports in general, the Lions aren't the only team where it's like, all right, they should be better. Detroit Pistons should be better this year. Right? The Detroit Red Wings should be better this year. The Tigers this year have been better and will be better next year. So they would be the only team that goes into the relapse once again. So they almost have to do better because that's the trend in Detroit right now.
That's going to be the chip on their shoulder, basically.
But ultimately, even when Detroit sports were at their best, the Lions were still the team that lost. So if anything is going to stay the same, it would probably be that.
Yeah, it's very true.
Moving on to another NFL team, Darius Leonard now becomes the highest paid inside linebacker in the NFL after signing a $99 million deal with the Indianapolis Colts, who may or may not have had the money to give it to him because they just lost a player, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, so that freed up a little bit of cap space there when they lost an all-star. So Darius Leonard signs a $99 million deal, becoming the highest paid inside linebacker. Are your thoughts?
We just had, Fred Wagner. That's not his name, is it?
His last name is Wagner.
Okay. Well, he just became the highest paid middle linebacker, or I know that we just announced it a couple of weeks ago for the 49ers. So that lasted all 2 weeks before the Colts changed that. I think this was
middle linebacker and inside linebacker.
My apologies.
They're in two different positions.
But I think he's well deserved. I think he is one of the best inside linebackers in the league. I think the Indianapolis Colts, we saw their defense last year. I think they're going to have a great defense this year. The defense is going to have to now have more of a chip on.
I think it'll be right around the same.
I think
if not, maybe like similar stats. I don't know about the outcomes of the games because they did lose Mans. I forget his name, but they lost him 2 weeks ago. I can't remember who they lost. Was he a free? He was a free agent though.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Because it wasn't a trade. He played on the Colts last year. He was a defensive lineman, but he's not on them anymore. We talked about it 2 weeks ago. Huh?
Justin Houston?
Was it? That sounds right.
Sounds
Okay. They lost him. Yeah.
I think that their defense has a lot more of a chip on their shoulder this year because they're starting QBs out. So obviously you're going to look at the other end of the ball to perform better. So they do have that
in order
chip,
to win games,
which will either help them or hurt them, and obviously we'll find that out. Colts are going to be another fun team to watch. There's a lot of fun NFL teams to watch this year as shit's going on. I like that.
Funny.
Yeah.
All right, we got more Michael Thomas.
I don't fucking like him.
He's becoming the Antonio Brown story, where it's just there's always too much drama.
Hey, Drew Brees retired. He's like, I got to get back on a championship team. Brady signed me. I'm going crazy. Save me.
Well,
yeah, but Dylan, I'm pretty sure you have the story here.
So Michael Thomas, he ignored the Saints for multiple months on end during the offseason. He wasn't taking calls from the management or anything. And then he also put out a cryptic tweet, I believe, today or yesterday, saying that the organization was trying to tarnish his reputation and make him look bad. Or bring his reputation down, I mean. I don't know if he's trying to get out of there. You're not, because they just lost Drew Brees, and now you're that star on offense next to Alvin Kamara that they're looking at. So I don't think that's going to be what happens. I think this is Michael Thomas, another incident of honestly just him being a bitch, straight up. Like he whines a lot, and it's so irritating. I don't know why it is to me. I know he's a great wide receiver, but I think it's just because his last year and a half, because of injuries and on and off performing and shit, I feel like he hasn't been good enough, consistent enough to where he can act like AB. He was acting like this because he played how many years for the Steelers? Pro Bowl after Pro Bowl after Pro Bowl after Pro Bowl. Michael Thomas has been in the league, 4 years?
Okay, so your argument is Michael Thomas isn't a seasoned veteran enough to be losing his mind?
Or he isn't performing enough.
Or so you have to be in the NFL for like 7 or 8 years before you're allowed to lose your mind?
No, I just think that the only situation I have to compare this to is Antonio Brown, and I feel like he was just a lot better. So in this case, it just hurts Michael Thomas because he's not as good. My opinion. I want your guys' takes just as well. I'll be dead ass.
I mean, I don't necessarily agree with you that he hasn't been performing up to expectations or whatever. Because he's been like the number one fantasy wide receiver the last
not last year.
He was out for most of the season, but even in the games he was in, I'm pretty sure he still put up numbers.
Not really. No.
Okay.
The year before, hell yeah.
Yeah.
How many games did he play last season?
But I'm just saying,
did he play? Not enough.
And they lost to the Vikings, and then he went on Twitter.
But you said when he did play,
ranting about all that shit. Just stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I'll fact check it. Hold on, I gotta fact check.
I didn't know what you were doing.
I gotta fact check catches now.
Yeah.
Michael Thomas stats last season. $40 receptions, 400 yards, no touchdowns. Compared to the previous season with 150. 49 longest. 9 touchdowns, about 1,800 yards. So
yeah, and a lot of it was injuries, so you can't really fault him too much.
Exactly.
Yeah, it says he played 7 games.
All right. Ty, what's your take?
Michael Thomas is a baby bag bitch.
Perfect. I'm glad we're on the same page.
But he's good at football.
And I was like,
well, I come at you because you're dumb. It's not because I don't agree with you. It's because you're dumb.
Okay.
That's all.
It works for me now because you agree, so I don't care.
All right. Another little injury bug coming to the Saints. Famous kicker Will Lutz, and I say famous because not every kicker's name is like well known, but Lutz is definitely a well known kicker.
Yeah.
And it's been announced today that he will undergo surgery on a core injury, I believe, and he will be out at least 7 to 8 weeks. So, kicking problems in New Orleans. Going to have to get a lot of touchdowns because you're going to have to afford to miss a couple kicks.
You could probably have Taysom Hill. I would not be surprised if he came out and just.
I wouldn't be surprised if he could do a cartwheel and then kick the ball on the same thing.
He could put Taysom.
For some reason, he can do anything.
He's the Andrew Romine of the NFL. He can play absolutely anywhere. Don Kelly, my bad, of the NFL.
I was going to say, I can't believe you just disrespected my man's Don Kelly like that.
The Don Kelly of the NFL.
Don Kelly can do it all. He's the real mastermind behind all this.
Don Kelly.
A little bit of problems for the Saints. And that's not what you want when you're in your first year without Breeze is coming up. So
no. And what you also don't want if you're the Patriots trying to rebuild what Tom took away by just leaving. Hunter Henry is to get an MRI on a shoulder injury that occurred at practice last week on Thursday. And they still don't know if it's serious or not, but Hunter Henry is going to get an MRI on that shoulder. But then some good news in the NFL. Miami has come to terms with Xavier Howard on a resolution for the contract disagreements that they were having. In his new contract, the cornerback will receive $1 million in Pro Bowl incentives and $2.5 million in additional incentives based on play time. So if he continues to get the playing time that he got last year, which is well more than I guess thinking he would get at that point. But if he gets that again this year, then he will get another $2.5 million in incentives. So what it sounds like to me is Miami decided to add incentives onto his current contract because they're like, all right, we can't just give you a whole new deal, but we can say that if you do this and you perform like you were saying you're going to again, then we'll give you the money. Yeah. So it's not guaranteed, but the incentives have been signed, and he was comfortable with that.
Yeah, they pretty much said, here's the best we can do right now, and Howard said, this is good enough. And
it's not essentially that. It's more of a, okay, if this is what you say you deserve, we'll give it to you after you show us that 1 year wasn't like a
fluke year.
Like that wasn't your high point.
Yep.
If you can do that again, sure, we'll give you the money. But we're not going to actually. The Dolphins aren't guaranteed, like they're not guaranteed his success, if that makes sense.
I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Because he's not a Jalen Ramsey. He might be their CB1, CB2, but he's not like a Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slay. Like, you don't get that kind of money because you can't guarantee that success. If he has another good year like he did last year, then I think it'd be more towards once he gets a new deal that they restructure it to where he gets a big payday. But I think that he's still young enough to where he's still in the process of earning that type of money.
Yeah. I agree.
Speaking of that type of money.
Oh, yeah, speaking about it.
Some NBA news. Ooh. I know we usually keep it hometown first, and we'll get into that because we don't have a lot of NBA. But
we got to talk about this first.
Luka gets the rookie max extension.
Deserves it.
$207 million super max rookie extension with the Mavericks. Does anyone deserve it more?
Maybe Curry, but he already got it. Any rookie?
Let me read. Yeah, okay. I was gonna say rookie super max.
I don't know.
Steph's been here, my guy.
There you go.
Trey already got paid, so yeah, no.
I don't think anyone deserves it more.
With it because that draft class, but I think even then, Luka's better than Trey.
Luka's also the entire.
From what I've seen, for the most part, a little bit of basketball I've watched, he kind of deserves it.
Oh yeah, I mean he just took Slovenia all the way to the bronze medal?
Semifinals. No,
did they get bronze?
Fourth place.
Did they? No, fourth.
Oh,
okay.
Get a medal now.
Damn near by himself again. So he's always pretty much by himself, and he's taking these these not so good teams to very good places. So congratulations to Luka. But what I really want to talk about is the Detroit Pistons' first summer league game.
I enjoyed it. I watched the whole
I
thing.
got to watch all the highlights. I didn't get to watch the whole thing, but I want to talk about a couple of players' performances here, starting with a guy that already we knew was solid, but just want to touch on it. Saddiq Bey, 14 points, 12 rebounds, 2 steals. A solid double-double for the first summer league game. But then I also want to touch on number 1 draft pick, Cade Cunningham, and then also Garza and Hayes. So Cunningham had 12 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Talk about getting a little bit of everything.
You see what he shot?
No, I am not a complete stat sheet. I just have most of my stats.
I believe it was 5 for 24.
Don't matter. When's the last time you shot a basketball before that in a game? It's been a minute. There's a little bit of rust.
Let him shake off that rust.
Dylan, don't tell me you're happy with 5 for 24.
I'm happy with the spurts of moments that I've seen. There was 2 moments I want to point out, okay? One,
the dunk,
where he started the game, where he had that 3, got back, steal or some shit, and then he had a 3. It was in the very beginning of the game.
and then the dunk.
And then, yes, the dunk, the steal dunk, that was another great moment. He had spurts of great moments as a rookie, and what are you expecting? You're not expecting him to go out there and just go crazy.
Well, I don't expect anything because it's an NBA Summer League game.
Exactly, bro. So whatever he does that's positive.
So I don't expect anything, but I also don't expect us to lose to the frickin' Thunder.
That doesn't mean shit.
Even if it is a Summer League game. I don't really care. The Thunder shouldn't win a single Summer League game.
That's the only games they should win, actually.
The Rockets should beat the Thunder. Like,
us and the Thunder should be in the finals at the end of this shit. I'm not gonna lie.
Fucking ridiculous.
Shake my head.
But then also before we go on to whatever we're about to go on to, because it sounds like we're getting off topic a little bit, even though we're still on basketball. Luka Garza had 9 points, 4 rebounds, an assist, and 2 steals as well. And I definitely need to see Luka Garza on the team this year. He better make the roster cut, I swear.
Yeah.
And then also Killian Hayes, 6 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal. I like how a lot of people got 1 to 2 steals. Like we're taking the ball a lot, and that I don't see a ton of that. Mm-hmm. So I like how aggressive we're playing on defense. And then a lot of our more defensive guys I don't have written down, had like 2 to 3 blocks, like more of the defensive players.
Deambu, I want to say, had 2 or 3.
Dumboya, however you say it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a couple blocks, and I don't know, just looking good. I like it. I just like it.
I also just want to point out, because I know that this.
I do.
I also want to just point out, because I know this isn't going to be in there. Evan Mobley, I've already seen him post or somebody. Just want to point that out. And then Jalen Green, he's also balling. So all the top draft picks, they're putting on, I would say, a show enough to where ESPN can continue to post about it. Also, shout out LiAngelo Ball. Hope you make the main roster for the 3rd time.
Good luck, my guy. 3rd time's a charm.
It's funny, bro. You know how many VC tats this man has now? Holy shit. He bought all the VC tats. All of them.
The what?
In 2K, when you have VC, you buy tattoos. And they're all little tattoos. And if you buy a bunch of little tattoos up on your arm, you'd call that VC tattoos. Because they're $1 million.
Okay. Hey, do you even know what VC stands for?
No.
Virtual currency. Welcome to video games. Let's go into MLB.
It's a real sport.
Dylan, tell me why this guy's suspended for 80 games, because I can't believe he's suspended for 80 freaking games.
Because he did drugs. You're not allowed to do drugs. There was a drug. It starts with an N. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. I don't know what it is. I'm sorry.
Fair.
Narcolemus.
But you go on and try and pronounce it anyways.
Because I feel like I want to
He
because I'm
swore he
Goes off
wouldn't
on a
do it.
whole tangent on how he's not, why
It
he's
was in
not
a
going to
system.
pronounce it.
Laureano, honestly, he's a catcher that is going to suck to lose, but the A's do have Sean Murphy, so it's not a big blow, but at the end of the day,
Sounds like an actor.
It is a blow. It does. I will say the one thing about Laureano is the man is a fucking hothead, so it's not a surprise to see him using these like. I don't know if this makes sense, but in a way of like, there's some players when you've watched, and they just always look pissed off, and then they'll be caught
Like you.
PEDs or some shit, and you'll be like, oh, that actually makes sense. For me, Laureano's one of those guys. Like when he tried to fight the entire Houston Astros during the pandemic last year, like that was great,
Well, you need that. You need some grit, some grind.
Yeah, it's just things like that where it's like, you know what,
Some
he
Luke.
might have been doing that because he was on some shit.
Yeah, maybe just some little bit of roid rage. He wasn't.
Yeah, who
wasn't
knows?
too bad.
Or he was.
But while we're on the topic of potential roid rage / steroids, do we think that there are steroids being used in the 502-foot home run that was just hit the other day?
Yeah, Sam Huff.
It was a minor league game.
This is the second.
So he's trying to make the show.
This is the second 500-foot home run that I've seen Sam Huff hit this year. Sam Huff.
Who does he drafted by?
He's a catching prospect drafted by the Texas Rangers. He was drafted not in this draft, but the one before, prior. He is, 2 500-foot home runs is not something that you see in an MLB season, let alone a fucking minor league season.
Maybe he's just goated.
That's what I mean. I wish. I'm kind of mad he doesn't play at Coors. I wish he was a Rockies prospect. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, he's hitting 500 homers in Arlington, so it's like, imagine.
Well, he's not in Arlington. He's wherever the affiliate team is.
Well, yeah, we'll just say in Texas because I know that's somewhere in Texas.
And wherever he hit those home runs.
Are we sure?
It was a home game.
Because the Tigers affiliate team is in Toledo, which is in Ohio.
I don't really want to find this out, but I'll just say Texas, bro, and let's just pray to God that they are in Texas.
Okay. What's his name? What's his name?
Sam Huff. God damn it.
Get out the
a
record.
Football player named Sam Huff. Oh, I got his MILB stats, Dylan. Here we go. Oh, he is. Okay. The Frisco Rough Riders. Frisco sounds like it's Texas.
That's in Texas.
Yeah, let's go.
Yes, it is in Texas.
Hell yeah. Thank you for making that so much easier on me.
Yeah,
so happy.
Texas is big enough.
No,
Yeah.
that's in Texas.
Hey, guess
confirmed
what?
Confirmed with eyes.
Guess what, Luke? Your Phoenix Suns just signed Alfred Payton to a 1-year deal.
Woo!
Woo!
Just happened.
I wish I knew what it was.
All right. How about the MLB injury bug? Because it is about that time where all those big trades happen and everyone's like, oh, they're stacked, they're stacked, they're stacked, they're stacked.
And people get hurt.
Psych, no.
And they just poop on it. So let me start going down this beautifully made list by Nikolai. And here we go. All right. Gio Urshela for the Yankees is out with a left hamstring strain. He should be fine.
Okay.
Aroldis Chapman for the Yankees is out with left elbow inflammation. He will eventually be fine.
Oh.
The MRI reveals no structural damage to him. Freddie Freeman of the Braves left last game with dizziness due to upper respiratory problems. However, tested negative for COVID, even though it seems like he may or may not have COVID for sure. Travis d'Arnaud from the Braves has torn ligaments in his left thumb. He will be out for a while. Fernando Tatis Jr. of the Padres had left shoulder subluxation / partial dislocation. So he will be out for at least a week. Juan Soto for the Nationals has right knee contusions. The MRI came back clean though, even though he was having contusion.
You remember when Eichel got hurt because he was the only one on the Sabres last year, and we were like, "Oh, got hurt." That's Juan Soto right now. He's trying to get himself hurt and put on the MRI list because he's the only person in Washington. And he realized that he's fucked.
He's like, I'm not doing this. So the MRI came back clean, even though he's going to probably fake this injury, apparently. And then Justin Turner from the Dodgers has left groin discomfort, so that ain't nothing.
Good thing he signed.
And Bo Bichette of the Blue Jays has shin contusions. And this one is a little bit more serial because, they're actually he's not alone on that team. So he's not trying to get injured.
No.
Chris Sale of the Red Sox will have Tommy John in March 2020 had Tommy John in March 2020. Debuts on Saturday versus the Orioles.
Oh, shit. This is another first theory of me telling you guys if the
robot arm
is a fucking thing, bro.
Chris Sale is about to be a lock.
Let me say it right now, okay?
That's the strikeouts.
7 innings, 12 strikeouts, 3 hits.
That's fine. I'm betting the over on strikeouts for Chris Sale.
7 innings.
I am too.
12 strikeouts.
Might have to throw 2 units on that boy.
3 hits.
So here comes robot arm Chris Sale.
That's what's happening.
And then also Kyle Schwarber of the Red Sox suffered a setback with hamstring due to left groin tightness.
What?
So all these big boys are out for the next couple games.
That pissed me off.
So, right after they all get traded and everyone's loaded, too, is when the injury bug starts hitting. And this might be when you see more of the injury bug.
Yeah, but the good thing about the injury bug, this is always a good thing, is usually when there's an injury bug, there creates headlines of people that step up in spots that you've never heard of. Like there's guys that hit two homer games and shit just because they get put in that position because of the injury. So the only thing that I noticed that always comes out of injury bugs, especially in the MLB, is there's always a guy that will fill that role and that can potentially make a headline out of himself that he wouldn't have been.
Well, yeah, there's always that potential, but you're not thinking about you're thinking about the one time a year that you know about one player and they take over, like Randy Arozarena. You're not thinking about the 12 other teams that did that exact same thing, and that guy was a dud, and there's a reason you didn't talk about it because you never heard about it because you don't follow that team, and he never did anything but fill in until that guy came back. But then at this time, what I see the injury bug as is a good way for sports bettors to weed out who's going to be in the playoffs, who's not going to be in the playoffs, because there's too many really good baseball teams right now.
Yeah.
It needs to get weeded out by some injuries.
The AL East has 4 teams that are all 10 games over 500 right now. And
and one of them has to be in 4th place.
The Orioles are in 4th place, 7 games behind, and they're 61-50.
Yeah.
It's crazy right now.
Don't be in that division if you want to win.
Because in the Orioles, it's got to be tough.
It is tough. They also kind of suck, but they're still over 500.
Past 3-4 years, we know.
Oh yeah,
it's tough.
Oh yeah, we know. We've been there.
It's real tough.
Also, a quick update has been thrown into MLB The Show today for anyone that plays MLB The Show. Field of Dreams has been thrown into an update, and you will now be able to play it on MLB The Show. It is coming off of the fact that people in the MLB community, it was announced last year that they want to host an MLB game at that stadium. There's a replica that is built, and they want to host an MLB game there. So this is also the first time they've ever added a new stadium into MLB The Show mid-season, because that's never happened before.
Correct.
So yeah, go check that out on MLB The Show.
Yeah.
But talk about
UFC
5 that happened this weekend.
It was good. It was a good event. Just
it was a
didn't do good.
Yeah, you should have seen the early prelims or slash prelims. That's where I guess more of the action ended up being at the end of the night when you really look at it.
It is because honestly, let's just look at it.
The headline speaks for itself.
The game absolutely dominated Henry, and it was I mean, Lewis. I said Henry again.
He does it every time.
Even when it's on the screen, his brain goes, nope.
Well, anyways, Lewis was he looked like he left the Black Beast at home instead of bringing it out into the octagon and letting it just.
Shit.
Black puppy.
Nothing.
No beast.
But Gain just set himself up for a nice fight against Francis Ngannou.
So can I ask you, Luke? But I talking about the fight. What was, if you could just guess off of watching, what do you think Lewis's game plan? Like, what was he trying to do? Was he looking for just a one strike, or?
He wasn't doing anything different.
That's all he ever looks for is that one strike. I mean, he's usually sloppy throughout the fight, but then can sink his opponent down to get him into that one shot. But Gain is just too good.
Well, I only asked.
He was just too good, too fast, as you said, technical.
Yeah, and it was a technical fighter versus a non-technical fighter.
Lewis said he smelled fear. He smelled feared off Gain when he was face to face at the press conference. I'm pretty sure he was just smelling his own fear.
Correct.
There must have been a wall, like the COVID walls, and he just breathed into it, and then it came back and hit him in the face.
He looked like he was shying away a lot.
Most Derek Lewis fights, when he gets hit a couple times, like when he was in the third round, when Gain was trying to finish him, that's when Lewis would pop up and just start swinging. Normally,
he did have a swing.
He didn't do that really once.
No, he did, but he missed it. Luke and I talked about this.
Yeah,
when Gain was close to finishing, and he was down near the cage, and he came up and he threw that right hand.
He threw a massive
he
right
threw the
hook.
craziest right of the night, and it missed by it missed by a couple inches. But after that, it was over. That was because think about it, Dylan. If he hits that, that's it. If he hits it, then that's his kill shot. That's it.
Well,
but he didn't hit it.
Than punches that landed.
Because he couldn't get close. You saw the height. You saw the reach difference.
Gain, you saw what happened every time Lewis got close to feeding him. That Gain literally sprinted across the octagon to get out of there, so he didn't get knocked out. He didn't get touched by that.
I don't think Gain was ever close to being defeated, in my opinion.
No, he wasn't.
I don't even think that he did.
That's why it's a dominant.
He didn't look gassed. He didn't look like nothing.
No, you said every time that Gain was about to get finished, he ran around. But I don't think he was ever about to.
No, not about to get finished. About to get punched in the face.
And with Lewis, that only takes one shot, so that is being close to being finished.
Well, when it only takes one punch, yeah.
I guess when Derek Lewis is standing next to you, yes, it's always.
When Derek Lewis is the one trying to punch you in the face,
that's why
you
you
can't
saw
take
him
a couple punches.
Sprint as fast as he could across the octagon when he was in a very bad position and Lewis was charging.
Yes, that did only happen twice. Lewis was never really in control, nor was he ever really coming at him.
Gunshot.
But it only happened twice.
He looked so gunshot. He should have started trying to go for it way sooner because he was in so much trouble.
He wasted his non-gun shy moments throwing crazy kicks to the head that were just getting.
I see why he was doing it a little bit. Yeah. So it's okay.
But he's too big to do that. You have so much time to see him do the whole action.
But what you got to know is everyone knows his game plan. Quick. It's very simple. He just tries to just open you up just to get that one touch. So he's trying to make you think, oh, I got different weapons that I can hit you with. But in reality, everyone still knows his game plan. He's still trying to just touch you with this.
But if you're a technical fighter like Gain, as long as you play your game or fight your fight in this case, as long as you fight the way that you fight, which is technical, you can't lose to this guy.
I'd say I wouldn't call it.
And he did what he.
It didn't look like the most entertaining fight.
No, and it can't be.
That's what I said on the last podcast Friday before it happened. I was like, this is either going to be one of the craziest knockouts or fights ever, or it's going to be completely boring because Lewis is going to get shut down.
It was both.
What happened? He got shut down.
Yeah,
it was boring, and then at one point there was a good crazy knockout.
Yeah, it was just it was just on the side that no one wanted to see it at.
Right.
Which
Yeah.
is honestly kind of how it seems to go
so let
on
me
this
ask you
podcast
this.
for whatever reason.
So after Masvidal and now Derek Lewis, if there's another hometown fight, just automatically fade them, right?
That seems to be the case, yes.
Okay. I was just making sure you two are the betters.
Well, let's move on to the next fight because is Jose Aldo back? Like,
No.
he looked unreal in that fight.
He did look
But he
like-
looked really good.
He looked elite. Like, even McGregor sent out a tweet giving him his respect. Like,
Yeah, I wasn't ready for that.
I was like, oh.
I thought it meant that McGregor wanted to fight him again. I immediately thought, okay, here he goes. He's
That's
gonna
what
try to
he-
fight
no,
him again.
McGregor.
He's scratching and clawing at Poirier. That's but
I don't want to see.
like,
I don't want to see
all-
McGregor fight Poirier again.
Yeah, I don't
All
know.
jokes aside, I don't want to see it a fourth time. I'm so sick of it at this point. Take your L,
Yeah.
dude.
Well,
Take your fucking
anyways,
L. Like all
although
7 of your other L's in the last 4 years.
he just looked
Hey, fuck off.
unreal against
Be nice.
Pedro Munoz. Like, Munoz, he put up his own good fight,
It's about
but
my money, Dylan. It's about my money.
when Aldo's on fire and he was just throwing the combinations he was landing, whoa, it looked clean and it looked real nice. It was
Oh, yeah.
fun to watch.
I need to see another one like that from Aldo.
Oh yeah.
Because
Oh,
it had been too long since I've seen a performance that good from him. So I definitely can say that I think he's back, but I need to see it again for confirmation to be like
Mhm.
solid on that. But I think he is back, at least for a little while. Until
yeah.
someone like McGregor, not McGregor himself, but someone, takes him out for good. Or McGregor, I don't really know.
They're
But
gonna be cool. I mean, shit.
But
yeah, I mean, maybe McGregor's gonna be like, you know what, I need to figure myself out again, and
need a person
you
when I
really
like
helped
you.
me boost myself the first time. So maybe you can help me boost myself this time and get me back on track.
right?
Problem is, if he fought Aldo after the first knockout he already had, even if he beat him and it wasn't like and quicker than that or in a crazier knockout, people would be like, yeah, he's not as good though. Look at him, he fell off. Well, I mean, yeah, he got a fucking 10-second knockout. So it's like he set the bar so goddamn
Yeah.
high. It's hard to beat.
Yeah.
Well, other crazy things. Bringing it back. Vicente, the silent assassin Luque with
Yeah.
a sneaky submission because Michael Chiesa, he was all over him from the beginning of the fight. Like, he was in control. He was taken to the ground. He put him in his own submission. Then out of nowhere, slipped out of that, put Chiesa in his own submission. Made Chiesa tap out.
Yeah,
I got
it was quick too.
It's
I
not
got
called a silent assassin for nothing.
two things.
No,
One, out of all the UFC events I've watched this year, that was the greatest 2 minutes of grappling that I've ever seen. It was great, fucking phenomenal in my eyes. And two, I've seen Luke talk about a lot about comeback KOs, and I've seen some of them. And they're amazing. That might be the first comeback submission I've ever seen. Just in the grappling, getting put in this submission hold, and then completely flipping the submission hold, and then getting the tap. It was crazy. It was unbelievable to see.
Yeah, I can understand that. If it was, I don't think it was fully in at first when the entire time when Chiesa went to the ground.
Chiesa, yeah. Well, Chiesa had him in a couple holds, which had different
Yeah.
couple things. Yeah.
Well, he was trying to get him into an arm bar, and that's what got him locked into submission.
Mm-hmm. It was almost like when he was in the submission hold, Lix was like, God, I can never pronounce his name. Luque.
Luque.
Help me.
Luque.
Luque. It's almost like he was waiting as he was getting put in these submissions, like, put me in an armbar. Like, do it. Like, almost baiting him at one point. I don't know. That's crazy to think. But imagine if he almost was, and then he did, and was like, gotcha, bitch.
He was just waiting for his opportunity
Yeah,
because he's the silent assassin.
It was some silent assassin shit, I will say it.
It really was. Well, honestly, we got to talk about the early prelim card because there was 4 fights on it. All fights were stoppages.
Where are you going?
I was going to grab my shoe to put on because I'm leaving after this. But I was getting up because I didn't watch the prelims. So what I was just saying was I don't need to talk about this because I didn't see any of the prelims.
So you should sit here and get informed.
Okay, I'll sit.
Get in your shoes. Where are you
Once I
going?
leave the podcast, I'm going to T-Bell because we're going to be done in like 20 minutes.
Because we got a Muno submission in round 2. We got a Gatto KO. We got at the end of the round in the second round, literally 5 minutes on the dot. Then we got John's KO in the third round. Then we got a Cape first round knockout. What an early prelim. Way to start off the entire night.
100%.
Like, absolutely.
I didn't get to see any of these, but
because we only saw a couple of them because I remember you telling me, you're like, oh, the early prelims, they aren't that much. I'm like, listen, they'll surprise you. What happens? 4 finishes, 4 fights. Then the next fight into the normal prelims continued it with another stoppage. But then there was like 5 decisions after that.
It's like Vegas. Stop.
This is all I got.
It better be all you got.
I don't know any of the people that fought. I didn't see any of the ways they ended. No description will do the video justice. Good job to those fighters.
I got one thing to say. Get off 265. My man Bobby Green got robbed with some bullshit.
Shut up, Dylan. You said you were going to leave after the Bobby Green fight.
No, I didn't think he got robbed until I went on Twitter, saw what people were saying, saw the tape, and he did get robbed. He did.
How?
Because, first off, it was 30-27. That was bullshit. It was a lot closer than that.
I really don't think it was. I'm going to be honest with you.
But you haven't given a reason yet. You haven't given a reason yet. Hold on. Go ahead. Give a reason. You just told me what the score was. I know that.
What? Oh, yeah.
You told me what the score was. We all know the score.
I believe that there was more significant strikes landed by Bobby Green where he was wobbled. His opponent was wobbled than the other way around. And I also believe that the fight was a lot closer than the judges had intended, which is why I'm bringing up the score thing. Because I don't even think it was 30-27. I think, 1, it could have gone to Bobby Green. And 2, if anything, I don't think it was. What?
No, I do not think that could have gone to Bobby Green. It was a good fight. He was there, but he was still getting outboxed. He was still not in control of that fight fully.
All right, ready? Here we go. It was a decision. Total strikes, Bobby Green, 143 out of 263. Rafael, 104 out of 223. So Bobby Green landed 54% and Rafael landed 46%. Significant strikes were 54% Bobby, 46% Rafael.
Thank you.
But Bobby Green was 0 for 2 on takedowns.
Oh.
Rafael never tried to take him down. So you can't go 0 for 1, 0 for 2, or for anything because he never tried.
Then you got to look at the control in the ring throughout the
fight.
But
yeah, other than that, it would just be ring control. But according to Dylan, which is basically just specifically going off number of strikes, he did throw about 30 to 40 more strikes and land about 20 more. So ultimately, I mean, it could have went either way. You may or may not be right, or may or may not be wrong. I can agree with you when you say that it shouldn't have been 30-27. Right. It probably could have been closer. I just don't think that. I don't think he gets the win based off that. And I could argue
more if that's how it was. Like if you were just the score thing, not the win. That's what more I'm arguing more.
Okay, you can call it a closer fight on the scorecard.
If fighting went based off significant strikes and strike percentage, they wouldn't need judges.
Correct.
The judges would go, okay, he landed more strikes, he wins.
Yeah.
Because they're both still standing, so whoever got more strikes clearly won. But they have to base it off total, like all these, this, that, the other thing.
How the strikes were put on.
Yeah.
Momentum and shit.
That flying knee was crazy, I will say.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I love a good flying knee.
Oh, that flying knee was wild.
Oh, that was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, so here's a fun fact. After we talked about it, the U.S. men's basketball team did in fact win gold. They did beat France. KD put 30 points. His first time he won gold. 30 points the second time. He couldn't quite hit 30, but he did hit 29.
It was almost too close for comfort.
Yeah, it was pretty good, and there was a good 20-second span with like a minute and a half left where France hit a 3, and then they stole the inbound and hit another 3, and it was like, wait a minute, it's a 4-point game.
I was like, are we really about to do this right now? Are we really about to? Come on.
It all worked out, and then the next night, the U.S. women's basketball team beat Japan. Yes, they beat Japan to win gold. So we both won gold. I think that's a statement, right?
We have 39 gold medals in China.
But
We have 38.
We have all the gold, bitch.
We win.
Yeah.
China's got a lot.
We win again.
We win again.
Grown up. Woo! We win again.
This is great. So yeah, shout out America.
Shout out
USA.
Repping the USA colors.
USA, not America.
We love it. Shout out USA. We love it.
Keeping it with those colors, though, and the last piece of information we have for today's podcast, the Rangers give Shesterkin a big deal. They're not going to really make him a big deal because no one can make anyone on the New York Rangers organization a big deal more than Mr.
Yeah, baby.
You can never make anyone a bigger deal in New York to that or to us
than that man.
Because he's right there. But that just about wraps it up for today's episode of Ride the Tide Sports Podcast. Luke, you want to tell us how much this man's making? Do we know how much he's making?
I don't know how much he's
Does anybody know how much he's making? Is he going to be super rich or just kind of rich?
He's not making. I don't think he's making anything.
He's not making anything?
Nope.
Oh.
He's getting a contract? No.
Well.
This just in, he has a contract with no money, but he put his name on it. No, it's a 4-year, $22.5 million deal, the most ever for a goalie on their second contract.
Damn. Is he worth it?
I guess we're going to find out because they think they have the next Lundqvist, and New York loves their goaltending. So I guess we will find out. Exactly.
The next one has to be great.
Yeah. All right, so that's just gonna do it for today's podcast. Thank you for watching episode 20 of Ride the Tide Sports Podcast, and thank you for joining us every week. Make sure you guys subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you give us a retweet on Twitter. Make sure you go check out our Twitter bio to get the picks. We are also brought to you by Vegas Sports Advantage. Y'all thought I forgot, but I don't ever forget. I just changed it up because I don't know if they want to see it in the beginning. I don't want to see it in the middle. I don't know if they want to wait till the end. So I'm just trying out different stuff, and we're just going to see what happens here. But if you stayed till the end, thanks for staying. Make sure you check out Vegas Sports Advantage and start making some money today so you can start winning money like me and Luke, and not Dylan because he ain't old enough. But he's going to be there someday.
Boom.
So thanks for watching. We're going to hit you with the ad. We're going to be right back, and then we're going to end this podcast.
Ride the Tide Sports Podcast is brought to you by Vegas Sports Advantage.
Welcome to VegasSportsAdvantage.com, the website where you can win with us. It doesn't matter if your favorite team is playing.
It doesn't matter what you think.
What matters is which team has the best odds to win. Our MIT team has had a winning record every year for the past 15 years. This gives us the confidence to guarantee all of our packages. We have the highest verified record. Don't miss out. Get in the game. It doesn't matter which sport it is.
It doesn't matter what you think.
Win with Vegas Sports Advantage. Go to VegasSportsAdvantage.com to start winning today.
All right, that's all we got. Thanks for watching this week's episode of Ride the Tide Sports. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube at Ride the Tide 586 on Twitter, Ride the Tide Sports Podcast on YouTube, and we'll see you on Friday for some more packed shows.